This podcast contains strong language and adult themes. Listener's discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to A Page Too Far, the show where each week one of us reads a book and tells the other all about it. Will it be bad? Will it be good? Let's find out. My name is Patty O'Connor O'Brien O'Sullivan, and this is my co-host for the evening, a man with leprosy.
Hi, I have leprosy.
Are you hanging in there? Or are you falling to pieces?
I'm going to keep my eye on you. I don't know.
Please don't. You're fine with you not doing that.
How do you, this is like an improv class where there's just like, be a banana.
Right. No, it's we do this to each other every time.
We do.
It's very difficult to be put on the spot.
How do you be a man with leprosy?
Kill me.
Kill me.
Leprosy is manageable nowadays.
Yeah. Nowadays it's not, I don't want to say it's not too bad, but it's not as bad.
I don't think there's a cure, so you still have to stay away from people, but you don't fall to pieces now, I'm pretty sure. So, man with leprosy.
Man with leprosy. That's me. No, fuck.
I want to know. Are you like me? Have you felt it? The yearning, the pull to return.
That's how I started our bonus episode on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Return.
I have felt, once again, the urge to dive back in.
Oh, God damn it, that's right. You told me this.
To the magical realms of vibrations and crystal magic.
Oh, you're right.
It's been 10 episodes since I've talked about this sort of thing.
What was 10 episodes ago?
The Magic of Unicorns
was
the last
Unicorns
one.
Was 10 episodes ago?
10 episodes. I think it was like episode 21, 22, something like that. It's been a while. It hasn't felt like it, but it
hasn't. It really hasn't. We haven't done woo-woo in a while.
So the book I chose for this week is titled Summer with the Leprechauns.
Oh.
A True Story.
Oh, okay.
I have the book here with me.
Oh, you do? Oh, look at that.
There it is.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. I mean, it's just a cottage. It's just a very Irish-looking cottage.
It's a picture of a cottage. It is
Could also be like Middle England.
The green cover with swoopy golden letters.
There's a leprechaun sitting in the L.
There's a picture of the woman.
Yeah,
she looks exactly like
sense.
what you'd expect. Her name is Tanis Hallowell.
I'll bet that's not how you say it if she's Irish.
Probably not. That's the way it's spelled, though. The genre is what I would call woo-woo. It was published by Blue Dolphin Publications in 1997.
Oh, 97. Okay.
And it is 191 pages long.
Yeah, average.
So, without any further ado, let's get into Summer with the Leprechauns. Summer with the Leprechauns, a true story. So, what are leprechauns? What do you think leprechauns are?
Leprechauns are mystical creatures that, by all accounts, either live at the end of a rainbow, which I've also heard is not true, and have pots of gold, which I've also heard is not true. And sometimes they're good and like help people, and then sometimes they're bad and mislead people. They're kind of a catch-all for anything that happened. You blame a leprechaun, whether it's good or bad.
Basically, yeah. So, leprechauns are diminutive fairy folk native to Ireland who wear red clothing and live in caves or tree trunks.
I think that person's colorblind.
We'll get to that.
They're red-green colorblind.
The name leprechaun is derived from the Gaelic Lucarpan.
You did not pronounce that correctly.
I heard someone say it that way, so that's how I'm going. Lucarpan.
If it's Gaelic, I just assume it's said wrong.
Probably. That's the closest I can get. And that Lucarpan means little assholes, basically. Pretty close.
I've heard that they're mischievous. So they just switched the P and the CH.
Kind of, yeah. I'm not sure how that came about, but that's it. It is believed that the leprechaun myth came about during the 8th century.
Oh.
It's very old.
Yeah, but also, I don't know. I didn't have a concept of when that legend came about, like when Irish folklore takes place. But yeah, I guess, I could see it.
The first work of fiction containing leprechauns was Ectra Fergus Mac Letty.
which is definitely said wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm not even going to try that one.
That's okay.
It translates to the adventure of Fergus, son of Letty.
I have heard of that in my travels.
In the story, Fergus falls asleep on the beach, and he wakes up to 3 leprechauns dragging him into the sea.
Oh, dope.
And then he captures them, and they give him 3 wishes so they can be released.
Is it 3 wishes each or one?
No, they each give him one wish.
Oh.
So in each wish he gets, he lets them go. So over time, the stereotypical image of the leprechaun changed into the one we are now familiar with: green clothes, red beards, and pots of gold. There's a bit about the myth where they are cobblers, and all the money they make is the pots of gold. They hoard it.
Oh, interesting.
And they don't spend it, which, why are you making it if you're not spending? I don't know.
I mean, that's just true of capitalism today, though.
Oh my God.
I mean,
also, a leprechaun is the mascot for the best goddamn cereal that was ever fucking made.
I agree with you 100%.
It's Lucky goddamn Charms.
Yeah, no, you cannot go wrong with a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Look, it is part of a nutritious breakfast.
And balanced.
And it's awesome. And if you don't agree, you're an asshole.
That definitely wasn't personal. Definitely wasn't personal at all.
I don't have baggage. In the preface of the book, the author claims to have lived in a cottage with leprechauns.
She Snow Whited it.
And asserts that she is, in fact, mentally stable.
So there's an interesting part there, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a phenomenon when somebody says they're sane,
right?
The automatic response is that, no, they're not sane.
Yeah.
There is no definitive proof of anything, right? There's nothing. It's just, if somebody says I'm not crazy, they're crazy.
Because they understand that what they're saying is crazy.
Right. It sounds ludicrous.
So they're already, by trying to convince other people of that, they're already kind of failing the test.
Right. They're starting off on wrong footing. And then
because everyone else is like, okay, you recognize that it's crazy.
Yes.
And you're still saying it.
Yes.
So you are definitely crazy.
Right. Right. If your source is bro, trust me.
She never says that.
That's good.
But she also claims that there is overwhelming evidence for elemental beings, including leprechauns.
Are leprechauns elementals?
Yes, we'll get into that.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that.
And so she says there's overwhelming evidence.
Just thought they were good at making cookies inside a tree.
Those are elves.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm touchy about my Keebler lore. Get it right.
I love Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Come on.
So she says there's overwhelming evidence for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then she quotes a bunch of authors from 100 years ago who all say, oh yeah, they're real. What? She proved her point.
If your source is bro, trust me.
No, that's totally right. She totally did that. Oh my God, I didn't even think of it that way. That's great.
It's bro, trust me. These guys said it too.
Yeah.
That's her source. Aside from the fact that she lived with them as well.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, she has eyewitness testimony.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So she kind of casually mentions that she has the ability to read people's minds.
Oh, just throwing that out there too.
In the preface.
Okay. Preface.
I usually say preface, but I wanted to say preface just to see if you would say anything.
You have said it both. You said it both ways.
I did,
this show.
This happens a lot throughout the book.
What, that she can read people's minds, or that she just throws out an assertion?
Yes, that she can read people's minds, but then she'll just gain superpowers as the book goes.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, oh, and I've also been able to lift 2-ton cars since I was 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It just keeps happening. And
Yes, queen.
I'm like, could you just lay out everything right now? Because I'm tired of being surprised.
I want a biography. Or an autobiography.
I mean, this is technically partly her biography.
Yeah, but I want the whole shtick. Chronological order.
So the story begins, as many stories do,
once upon a time,
in Toronto, Canada. She had just lost a 16-year-long relationship with a man. Very tough. She was losing interest in her career.
Yeah.
And she put her house up for sale.
Nice.
She just wanted to change her life.
Just move somewhere else and start over.
She wanted to get away from everything, and she also wanted to work on her spiritual enlightenment. She wanted to become enlightened.
I'm okay with the first one, and I'm okay with the idea of the second one.
Through a friend, she finds a small cottage for rent in rural Ireland. When she arrived, the owner of the cottage informed her that he had sold the cottage, and she would only be allowed to live there for 1 month.
Wait, so she moved there.
She didn't move there. She's taking a trip there. She was planning to stay there over the summer.
Okay. So she was taking a trip there, planning to stay over the summer, but the guy, he didn't tell her that before she committed?
Well, she just arrived.
Oh, she just showed up. She didn't have any prior contact.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he's like,
okay.
I can rent it to you for a month, but I sold it and they're moving in a month.
Right.
So that's about as long as I can give you.
Okay.
She planned to be there all summer.
Right.
So there was a little bit of a, oh, fuck. Well, this sucks. But she was going to make the best of it anyway. The second she enters the cottage, she is met by 4 small people.
Oh.
A man, a woman, and 2 children.
Oh.
They're all below 4 foot.
Okay.
The little man informs her that they have been living there for hundreds of years.
Dope.
And if she wanted to stay there in peace, she would have to agree to some conditions.
Does she get to know those conditions up front?
They actually don't tell her up front.
Oh, no.
They're like, you'll have to do something for us. And then they disappear.
In a flash or just
kind of wink out.
Okay.
It's like, gone. And before they disappear, she agrees, even though she doesn't know
I was going to say, if she doesn't explicitly, they're not fae, but they sound close enough.
Right. And she's like, I guess I have no choice. Sure, I'll do it. And they're like, all right, we'll get back to you.
You can say no.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything. They're like borderline threatening her.
Yeah.
They're like, if you want to live here in peace and not be harassed, then you got to do a job for us. Hey, One last job.
Look, all I'm saying, you son of a bitch, Ivan. Look, all I'm saying is next time I come in here, there better be a roll of 20s, you know?
So chapter 3 of this book is titled Leprechaun Evolution. Which sounds like a movie.
It does.
And I want to see that movie.
There's a horror series about a leprechaun.
There is.
Is it called Leprechaun?
It's Warwick Davis is the leprechaun.
Is he? Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
That's funny.
So every chapter in this book is like a day. So there's close to 30 chapters in the book.
So she
chronicles each day.
That works. That word works, but that's not what I was going for.
Chronologizes.
Chronologizes. That's a...
And I'm going to be honest with you. 30 to 40% of this book is just her vacation in Ireland. There's some chapters where she just walks around and occasionally talks to locals.
Huh.
And I'm like, I want to talk about creepy little leprechauns. What the fuck are you doing?
Like, get to the meat of the thing.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So on the third day, she has tea with a leprechaun man.
Oh, he's back.
Yep, he's back. And he explains to her that leprechauns are just one of the many different elemental spirits. Right?
Okay.
There are many elemental spirits. And she actually, on one of these days, she wakes up and they're all in her room watching her.
The leprechauns or the spirits?
All the different spirits.
Oh, like so one of each type.
Yeah, there's leprechauns, gnomes, dwarves,
Chomsky.
Goblins. There's ones called devas, I think, which I have no idea what that is.
I've never heard of that either.
But the goblins are fucking funny. I love them. They wait for you to let your guard down and they feed on your life energy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're little ugly fuckers. So anyways, so she's now aware of all of these and she now knows that they're all like elemental spirits.
Yeah.
They all help with different elements.
It's the scene from Santa Claus 2. It's the Council of Legendary Figures.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
It's a great movie.
Really
Unironically, it is a fantastic movie.
I love Martin Short.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's great. Isn't Martin Short in the third one?
I don't remember.
Frost.
Yeah.
That's the third one.
That is the third one.
Yeah.
The second one was the fake Santa Claus.
Right.
Elementals cannot create. Okay?
Okay.
So we touched on a little bit in the past with woo-woo books, but humans are the only beings able to create other than the creator, who is the supreme being, God, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
Humans having free will are the only beings able to create things. Right? As humanity expands, the elemental races diminish. People are kind of crowding them out.
Okay. Deforestation and...
Yeah. And the elementals are, of course, tied to the elements.
Right.
So the worse the climate gets, the worse their health is, right?
Right. Wouldn't the fire elementals be doing pretty hot?
Doing pretty hot.
That was unintentional.
Okay. So the elementals were asked by the ones who control their evolution if they would like to study human beings in order to learn free will and become creators themselves.
Now that's interesting.
While remaining in their elemental evolution. So this is weird, okay? So human beings are made of denser material than elemental beings.
Right.
And we have a lower vibration because we suck.
Right.
Elemental beings have a higher vibration. They are much lighter. They are less dense.
Yes.
Which allows them to travel freely between dimensions.
Right.
Now, human beings have souls.
Right.
We have souls and we have spirit. That's two different things.
Right.
Elementals only have spirit. They don't have souls. Souls are very dense and heavy.
Right.
It takes a lot more energy to lift a soul, I guess.
That's why your soul should reside outside.
Exactly. You gotta carry it on your back. Get that third person viewpoint.
Exactly.
We're back, baby.
Turn this into an over the booty shooty.
It's been so long, but we're finally back to it.
God, I hate this.
So
why are these books the most interesting?
I don't know. This was a hard concept for me to grasp reading this book.
Right.
These differences.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound like she's that great at explaining things.
Right. And so human beings having a soul which is tied to their free will can create. Elementals can learn to develop their own soul, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
And that's what they mean by developing free will.
Yes, because it's tied to the soul.
Right.
And human beings can also do the opposite. They can become elemental beings while retaining their soul.
That's what Dame Judi Dench did in Riddick.
Exactly. That's what the Conversations of the Crystal Skull, the goal was the whole time.
Right. Yeah. It was
you had to raise your vibrations, become a being of light energy.
Yep.
You have ascended and maintained your soul, but you've become almost like an elemental being.
Right.
Right. Now, it says very explicitly that elementals and other beings cannot create.
Right.
But there are multiple moments in this book where they create shit out of nothing. This is one of many contradictions in this book.
Well, didn't you just say they were learning how to create?
Some are, some aren't.
Okay.
I might have made that sound like a generalization, but there are a select few who are learning to do that.
Right, yeah.
One of them being the leprechaun man.
Yes.
But there's fucking other guys that just do shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't understand this rule set.
They didn't create it. They just took it from somewhere else.
But I mean, that's all human beings do. We just take raw materials and turn it into something else.
Yeah.
Nothing comes from nothing.
We have ideas.
We do have ideas. But the whole concept of these elementals deciding to create free will, how do they do that without free will?
Yeah.
How do you decide to even start without that?
Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah.
What?
No, the whole stamp, even having a bargaining position with the leprechaun when they're like, hey, we've lived here for so long, you need to do some stuff for us if you're going to stay here peacefully. You have to have free will to enter into a bargain like that.
Yeah, they had to have the idea to use leverage of some kind.
Yeah.
Or to make a request.
Yeah.
Like, the whole concept of free will in all of these kinds of books is so nothing.
Right. Well, it is very difficult to write something that you haven't experienced, right? And humans have free will and don't really have experience not having free will.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, unless it was taken from somebody.
Right.
But that is a very, very difficult thing to try and get across.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help when what you're trying to get across is bullshit.
Yeah. So the leprechaun then tells her the condition of staying there.
Okay. Yes.
The condition is that the leprechauns will keep the more harmful elementals away from her.
You mean the ones around the bed right now?
Yeah, like the goblins and those fuckers that want to feed on her.
The devas.
And in exchange, she will teach the leprechaun about humans and about free will.
They've been around for 100 years. How don't they know, or hundreds of years?
He's just getting around to it.
Okay.
It's a recent development.
Okay. Why are you... whatever.
So a bargain is struck. In addition, he would help her with her enlightenment and teach her about elemental shit. So the next morning, she is eating toast And the leprechauns just pop into existence across the table from her. And she's like, why don't you eat with me? And they're like, awesome, free food.
Yeah, we take those.
So she toasts up some bread, and then she spreads like a mix of honey and butter on it.
Ooh, delicious.
Awesome. And the way they eat the bread is very weird.
Okay.
They levitate it in front of themselves. So they levitate it off the plate, and it's like hovering in front of their face.
Uh-huh.
And then they do what they call absorbing the essence of the food.
Mm-hmm.
Now, visually, this doesn't look like much. It looks like something dissolving off of the bread and entering their face.
Okay.
Okay. But the bread looks the same when they're done.
Yeah.
And it tastes like less good, less nourishing. There's something missing from it now. This is not explained any further.
Okay.
This just happens.
That's interesting.
The leprechauns they get really nauseous when she does that. So when they eat the essence out of it and then she eats the rest, they're like, oh, it's fucking gross. Oh my God. You're eating the thing that I just ate.
It's like cracking open a sausage wrapper, eating the sausage, and then somebody else eating the wrapper.
Kind of, yeah. It's just it grosses them out.
Yeah.
So they don't usually stick around for that. They just take off. The male leprechaun explains to her how they eat, with the whole absorbing essence and what they eat.
Essence.
They never eat anything that was once alive.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so she's like, oh, so like, I love lettuce, so eating lettuce is still okay. And he's like, fuck no. You're killing that thing. You don't eat lettuce. And she's like, what the fuck do I eat then? Like, vegetables are out? And it's...
toast should be out, because bread's made from grain.
Grain, exactly. He's okay with grains.
What?
But lettuce is alive somehow.
What?
I don't know. He makes exceptions to some foods, and others are alive.
Sounds like most vegans I know.
Yeah. He's cool with milk and honey.
Okay, those aren't alive.
He says he really likes eating potatoes, though, and the author is like, aha, potatoes. They're alive, aren't they? And he's like, yeah, but what we do is we go to the potato plant and we ask if they have any children they're willing to give up to us.
That doesn't make it better.
No, that makes it so much worse in my mind.
That doesn't...
Calling them children.
Why?
And the potato plants are like, okay, guys, we got to give up another one. Like... Maybe little Jimmy, he's been feeling off.
Oh, I was going to say Jimmy, too.
Oh.
Well, bye, Jimmy.
Bye, Jimmy. It sucks being potato on this day. So,
what?
That's another contradiction. They're like, no, that's alive, but potatoes are kind of assholes anyway. We'll eat them.
Yeah.
As long as they decide which ones we eat.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird. They love drinking alcohol.
That
fits a stereotype.
Look, they eat potatoes and they drink alcohol.
They're Irish.
Do they also fight?
No, they don't fight in here. They're all very peace-loving, surprisingly.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Their favorite is mead because it's honey and they love honey.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to come by nowadays.
Right.
So they settle for Guinness.
Everything you say, I don't know why. Every time you start a new sentence, I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. And it's just not.
Why do you think it's going to be good?
Because I'm an optimist. Okay, and I'm like, it can't all be weird.
You're a fool.
Yeah.
You're a fool.
You're right.
So the way they get a drink is when someone's at the pub.
Okay.
And their drink gets poured.
Yep.
Before they can get it to their lips.
Uh-huh.
The leprechaun will slip in there and suck out all the essence and take off.
So everyone's just drinking shit Guinness.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Guinness.
Yes. I don't mind Guinness. As far as beers go, it's fine.
I was never a fan.
But yeah, what an asshole move.
Yeah.
Because of what they do, it apparently it's like less potent.
Right.
It is less flavorful. Like, what a fucking asshole. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe
it. You just said it's weird when she eats the dead toast.
It's also weird to suck out my drink goodness before I drink it.
What the hell?
So she writes an entire chapter about going to the market and buying a jumper.
Oh, okay.
And it is horribly uninteresting.
Not what I thought she was going to buy, but fair.
It's so fucking boring.
Well, yeah.
It's her vacation.
It's clothes shopping.
Yeah. The jumper was €55, by the way.
In 1997.
In 1997. Pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Now, the only important detail is that it is unique. It's one of a kind.
Uh-huh.
They're all handmade and made to look different. Right?
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I would totally buy one. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't wear jumpers, but
But in the next chapter, she gets back to the cottage, and the leprechaun man is sitting on her couch wearing the exact same jumper.
Oh, shit.
Yep. And he's like, psych, bitch, they're all made in Korea.
One of us is going to have to change.
So in this chapter, he teaches her about manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
The creation of something.
Yes, from thought. So using your thoughts to make something appear in front of you or something to happen, right? So that's where his jumper came from.
Yeah.
He manifested the same jumper she was wearing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And throughout this whole book, he reads her mind. He knows what she's thinking before she says it. So essentially, he's like, if you believe hard enough, you can make anything appear. All it takes is your belief in your own ability to do it. That is it. Later, the leprechaun teaches her about past lives.
Oh, cool. Hers or theirs or both?
Just collectively what past lives are,
Okay.
what they have to do with us. And this is another moment where she just pulls out a superpower, and she's like, oh, yeah, I know about all my past lives.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, she can read minds.
Yeah, so she could read her own, apparently.
Yeah. Does she read anyone's mind?
She does, yeah.
Okay.
She runs into people, and she could tell exactly what they're thinking, and it has nothing to do with body language or what they say.
It's always, get the fuck away from me.
No, she mentions when she was younger, she was with two of her quote-unquote friends.
Mm-hmm.
One liked her and one didn't like her.
Ah.
So she knew that because she read her mind.
Uh-huh. Not because the one was just constantly an asshole to her.
Yeah, no, it's just like she said this one thing, but I knew she didn't mean it. I read her mind. It's like, okay.
It's called sarcasm.
So they're talking about multiple lives, and she's like, I know about all mine.
Mhm.
And he's like, you know about all of your lives in this track,
Oh.
but not in all tracks.
Okay. We talking multiverse?
Essentially, that's the best he doesn't explain what tracks means,
Yeah.
but I assume he means different timelines, because the way they set it up is that your soul inhabits multiple lives simultaneously throughout history. So all of your past and future lives are being lived simultaneously,
Okay.
but at different separate periods of time. But a track, I guess, is a different timeline
Okay.
or another universe, however you want to say it.
Okay.
That's essentially what it is.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down because there's a Star Trek novel that I read. It's the only one I've ever read that has to do with multiple timelines and cues in it and everything. And it's actually a pretty decent book. But it doesn't label chapters. It does tracks. Track A, track B, track C. And I didn't know what it meant until I read it a second. I was so confused the first time I read it.
It might be an actual
But it was
theoretical thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's track A was the Captain Picard that we know. Track B is an alternate universe where Riker's in command. And track C is something like that. Like, it was all very, very interesting.
That's probably what this is.
Yeah, I think I think you're right. It's essentially just multiverse theory.
So the author has a vision of being a woman walking through a forest.
Uh-huh. She's a druid.
And essentially, because she can hear the voices of all the things around her. This woman, in her vision, who is her, in the past, walks past a tall, thin man wearing green. The man asks her where she is going. She replies, I am going to my death.
Metal.
But why choose death? Something in my soul calls me to leave.
What?
Ah, a soul call. Well, we must obey that.
What? Hey, babe, where are you going? Oh, I'm just going to go die. What? Yeah, I just feel like I should die. Oh, I guess you better die.
That's lit, fam. I'll see you on the other side.
Mood. Let's go.
Let's go. Such a bizarre interaction. The casual way he says, a soul call.
A soul call.
Of course,
Okay.
a soul call.
Yeah. Why didn't you say so? Lead with that next time.
So there's a very weird line.
Just one?
Just one weird line about how elementals can feed on love the same way they feed on the essence of food.
Interesting.
So if you believe in and love elementals, that makes them stronger. They're like...
This is the Santa Claus.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's like...
We have believing is seeing. We have if you believe... Oh, wait, no, I guess that's elf. More than... Yeah,
Is it not in the Santa Claus?
Elf is the one where he gets his power from people believing in him.
Because there's no, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of incarnations of Santa Claus gets his power from belief.
You're right,
in
right.
Christmas
Which
spirit.
I wonder if that stems from, I mean, because he's a mythical,
right,
you know, legendary figure, whatever.
He's essentially an elemental creature.
Yeah, I wonder if that stems, like, if that part of his folklore stems from these myths, because there's a part of Santa Claus folklore that is very Irish and Gaelic.
Yeah. I can only picture Tinkerbell. Like, you can only fly if you believe.
I do believe in fairies. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And then you have to fucking, like, applaud
Clap.
her.
Yep. Please clap.
What a needy
I want a
bitch.
cut of Peter Pan where Jeb Bush is Tinkerbell.
I'll work on that.
I will start a GoFundMe for that.
I'll work on that. We'll put it on our Instagram.
Yes.
So they...
I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
There's the scene that she's dying.
Yeah. And Jeb Bush's campaign is dying.
Please clap.
That's why he asked people to clap. So Jeb Bush is a fairy.
Oh my God, it all makes sense.
So the author takes a bath.
Okay.
She decides, I'm not going to work on enlightenment today. I'm going to do a me day.
Sure.
She takes a really nice hot bath.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And she's planning on going out to dinner.
Nice.
To a little inn that she saw that has great food, apparently. So she was like, I'm going to do that.
Dope.
Of course, the leprechaun can read her thoughts.
Yep.
And just pops in whenever he wants. So he pops into her bathroom.
Yeah. Natural.
And he's like, oh, you're going out, I hear. You should take me along. Because he wants to...
Right. Learn about humans.
He wants to learn about humans. And more specifically, he wants to learn about dates.
Oh.
What it's like to go on a date. So she's scrubbing up at the tub. Leprechaun shows up.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, take me along. And she's like, what the fuck? I'm naked.
Yep.
And, but apparently elementals have no sense of privacy.
Clearly.
So he's like, phooey, would ya? Hey, don't bother me none.
You know, that classic line of when somebody's uncomfortable, they're saying, hey, please stop looking at me. I'm indecent. And then they say, no, it doesn't bother me.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And this part gets really fucking weird.
Oh, this part. I've made that joke already.
Because they get a little flirty.
She is naked.
And then he joins her in the bathtub.
Okay. Is he still wearing clothes?
No, he gets rid of his clothes, jumps in.
That's even weird. I don't know which one's weirder.
I don't know. It's just fucking, I hate this part.
Why?
So they're both naked in a tub together.
Don't fuck the leprechaun.
They're a little flirty, talking about going on a date later.
Yeah.
By the way, this leprechaun is married.
Yeah, and has kids.
Yeah, and has kids.
How do they create kids?
It's not clear. They don't really go into that. They do have sex, though. And it's apparently very similar to how humans have sex because there's the stories of humans being drawn into the Fae.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With fairy folk and make love to them.
Yep.
And then they're booted out because they get old and ugly and everyone they know is dead. That's all true, according to this leprechaun. She goes out to eat. The inn is called the Unicorn, by the way.
God damn it. It's proof.
And when she gets there, the unicorn is like, I want some alcohol, bitch. And she's like, well, I can't order.
The leprechaun.
The leprechaun says that.
Okay, you said unicorn.
I'm sorry. I'm sure.
And at this point,
I'm sure there was a unicorn in the vicinity that she could have talked to.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no doubt. Leprechaun is like, I want some alcohol. And she's like, I cannot order 2 glasses because then I'll look really weird to everyone in the inn. She's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, order the fucking bottle and just pour it and then I'll drink and then you can have some. So that's what they do. And when she orders food, she's like, she's literally like, I'm ordering a steak and you better not say a fucking thing.
Yes, queen.
They talk about some of the other elemental things like gnomes, goblins, dwarves, that sort of thing. And some of them look really grotesque. Goblins especially. They look ugly as fuck.
Right.
And so the leprechaun is like, you shouldn't judge them based on how they look.
You said they were evil earlier.
Well, he didn't say they were evil. I would say they're fucking evil, but he just says, they just don't like humans that much.
Oh.
He doesn't call them evil.
They're not evil, they're just racist.
Yeah, they're racist and they fucking feed on your life force.
Yeah.
They're vampires.
Does it affect you when they feed on your life force?
It's not clear.
Okay.
It's not clear at all. He's explaining to her they look ugly, but you shouldn't judge them based on their appearance.
You're right.
And he's like, it's the same for humans. You can't judge based on appearance. And then he says, there are some very evil humans that do very terrible things, but people don't recognize their malevolence because they're very attractive. Now, this is somewhat true.
Yeah.
Hot people get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Because they're hot. But,
Mm-hmm.
this is the biggest but I've ever said, by the way.
Oh.
But, the example the leprechaun gives
Okay.
is Hitler.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, but like, have you seen Hitler?
I have. I would not call him remotely attractive. I don't know anyone who has called him attractive.
No, not at all, actually.
But that's what he says. He's like, Hitler got away with a lot of shit because he was hot. And I'm like, what the fuck is this book?
He got away with a lot of shit because he was very charismatic.
Impassioned, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe charismatic. I don't know. He was on meth. So he was able to do a lot of things.
Right.
All this says to me is that the author thinks that Hitler's hot. That's all that says to me.
Yeah, I mean, he single-handedly ruined a style of mustache.
So at one point, the author asks the leprechaun his name.
Ooh.
And he said, because there's a thing about leprechauns. If you know their name, you have power over them.
Yeah, well, that's just fake creatures in general.
Yeah. And he says, with a straight face, my name is Lloyd. And she calls bullshit because she can partially read minds.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It works on fake creatures too, apparently.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
So she's like, yeah, she's OP as fuck.
She's a Mary Sue.
She's a Mary fucking Sue. So she calls bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine. And he tells her actual name, which she has not put in the book.
Oh.
And the second he tells her his name.
Rumpelstiltskin.
No, it's not Rumpelstiltskin.
It's Mr. Gold.
The second that he tells her his name, she can feel gates opening between their essences.
Right. The lifelines are
their
connecting.
Spirits,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And she understands that since this has happened, she can now travel with him to any dimension he is capable of traveling to.
Oh, wow.
Together, right?
Wow.
She can't on her own, but with him, they now can because they have this connection.
Bear but the touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld.
So in chapter 15, the author meets her body elemental.
Yo, body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy.
So I don't know if I've been very clear, but elementals' jobs is to uphold and grow things. So they take care of the trees and the water and the ground and the sky.
Right.
So they maintain those things and help them flourish. And people are fucking that up, right?
Yep.
But there's also body elementals, which stay in your body and help it function.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
They are also the ones who maintain your soul over various lifetimes.
So this is her interpretation of the guardian unicorn.
Yeah, basically. And that's the reason you have memories over different lifetimes is because of the body elemental. They keep your memories for you. What's that?
Do we have memories over different lifetimes?
I mean, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
So she gets in contact with her body elemental, who is very reluctant to talk to her, which is surprising.
You'd think he'd have a lot of tips.
Yeah.
I assume he, maybe she, maybe it.
I don't remember.
They?
I think it's not gendered.
Yeah. Okay.
But she like goes inward with her senses.
Yeah.
And can sense the presence of the body elemental. And is like, hey, what's going on? And the body elemental is just pretending like
oh fuck.
It's like pretending it didn't hear her. And he's like, I'm talking to you, and it's like, go away, I'm working.
What? I got earbuds in.
And so
is this a soul call? Oh.
So she asks the body elemental, what kind of work are you doing? And the body elemental is like, are you fucking stupid? I'm running your body.
Valid. 100% valid.
They talk a little bit, and it's not interesting. It's just like, I make your shit work.
And I make your shit work.
I make your shit.
It's fascinating to me that the conversation she's having with the being living inside her isn't interesting.
Yeah.
It is, how do you get to the point where that sentence is real?
and it's just so boring because the thing doesn't want to talk to her.
I guess, it's a one-sided conversation.
It has a job to do, and it just wants to be left to do it.
Yeah, that's a mood.
And so the leprechaun kind of talks to her about this afterwards and explains to her that it takes 3 days after your body dies for the body elemental to die, which it doesn't die.
Okay,
It just moves to another dimension to work on another part of your life or a different life. I don't know, something like that.
Next.
It like punches out.
Goes on break.
And I was like, man, that was a fucking long one. That was like 78 years. God damn.
Damn, as time goes on, they just get longer and longer.
Yeah. And so because it takes 3 days, that's why, and this is straight out of the book, I'm not making this up.
Okay.
That is why bodies are not buried any sooner than 3 days. And that is, well, hang on. That is also why it took Jesus 3 days to resurrect.
Okay.
Can you explain this to me? Because I don't get it.
So there's 2 parts to this.
Yeah.
There's 2 parts. There's there's one statement and then 2 things that are expounded off of it, right?
Yes.
The one statement is it takes 3 days for the body to fully die, for your body elemental to leave, to punch out, as it were.
Yes.
Okay. So the first statement was that's why bodies aren't buried for 3 days.
Which is not necessarily true.
That's not necessarily true. That's not true at all.
The reason it takes a few days, there's a multitude of reasons.
Doesn't always also take 3 days.
Yeah, no. Like, the biggest reason is you want to give the family time to get there.
Yeah.
For the funeral.
Exactly.
Another reason is logistics.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are dead.
Yeah.
There's a queue.
Yeah.
Like,
got to get the body 2 places.
There's stuff you have to do to the body before you put it in the ground.
That's true.
If you're doing that.
Right.
You have to prep it.
What happens with people who are cremated?
They don't cover that. I don't know. Yeah.
But the second part,
yes,
about Jesus rising, right?
Right.
3 days later, because it took 3 days for his soul to punch out, or his body elemental, excuse me, his body elemental to punch out. When he rose again, is it the same body elemental?
No, I guess he just doesn't have one. Which how do you function then?
That's my question, right? Because is it the same body elemental, or is there no body elemental now? Or
I think it's because he ascended. He doesn't need a body elemental anymore because he doesn't have a body.
But
even though it technically is his body.
Well, yeah, but it was his body, right? Because he did the whole thing.
His body was gone.
Right. What? No.
It's not. It wasn't in the tomb.
Right. His body wasn't in the tomb, and he did the thing where he's like, "Hey, touch me, it's me."
Yeah.
Right. Like that. So maybe his body elemental. I'm gonna keep saying punched out.
Right.
And then because he had ascended, then when he came back, he was controlling the body.
Sure.
In a different dimension. Like he's in a different dimension and he's controlling the body because his soul is now residing outside of the body.
In a different dimension?
Potentially in a different dimension.
That's advanced.
Or he took the place of the body elemental. But doesn't the body elemental then go into the next timeline? Right? It's the next
the next incarnation.
Iteration of that soul. Then that begs the question of whether Jesus did or did not have descendants. That's not something I'm getting into.
Right.
But if he did, then if he had like a reincarnation of himself, then his body elemental would go in there, wouldn't it? But it left. So where did it go when it left?
There's another problem. Another problem.
What's the other problem?
So according to her, the body elementals are what maintain your memories between lifetimes.
Right.
But according to the other books I've read, the ascended masters, who are ancient Atlanteans who keep ascending and then lowering their vibration to become human again to help humanity, Jesus is on that list.
Right.
They maintain their memories all the time. Even after they ascend, they still have all their memories.
Right. I remember that.
So Jesus doesn't need a body elemental to hold his memories.
What if it's like a flash drive, right? So you have your I'm putting this in terms we mortals can understand, right?
Okay.
You have your computer and you have all your files on your computer.
Yes.
From all of your lifetimes.
Yeah.
And you want to put specific memories into your new body. So you put them in a flash drive and then you plug the flash drive into the new body.
Yeah.
And that flash drive is the body, is the soul, the body elemental.
Okay.
Right? So he has all of his memories. He has the computer.
Yeah.
But his body still needs the flash drive. But he has it, like he has access to the computer at all times. But his...
I kind of want to move on.
Yeah,
We're expending too much energy on this.
I don't know why I'm talking so much about that.
I don't know.
Out of all of... Has she banged the leprechaun yet?
No, I don't think she ever did.
Good. I mean, they were in... No, whatever.
So, at this point in the story, the leprechaun actually takes her to his own world.
Oh, cool.
The world of the elementals.
Uh-huh. Sounds like a horrifying place.
As soon as they get there, they meet a tall, bearded wizard.
Dope!
This is wizard in quotes.
Oh.
Because he's tall,
He's actually a clan member?
Well, he does have a pointy hat.
Oh, no.
He has a long beard. He has a really tall staff.
Nice.
It says he has a cone-shaped hat.
Hell yeah.
It doesn't say any brim, so I'm just picturing a dunce cap.
Yeah, no, it's Merlin from from Sword in the Stone.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
So that's what she sees. He also has a fire insignia on his chest.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's going to Flavortown. So elementals don't have body elementals themselves.
That makes sense.
Because they don't have souls.
Right.
And because of this, they don't have any memories of their past lives. They do reincarnate, but they have no memories of what they were before.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So she meets some of the other elementals.
Mm-hmm.
She meets water, which gives off a very serene energy.
Okay.
But is also pretty hard on her. Like, oceans are a mess. You guys need to deal with that. Come on.
And this is my fault personally.
Well, they kind of talk to her like that. Like when she meets the earth elemental, he immediately is like, fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking human bitch. Like, I'm not joking. He is rough on her.
Yeah. Imagine that. The ground is rough.
And then the earth elemental takes her to court.
What?
This is a real thing.
Okay.
He takes her to court under the charges of destroying and contaminating the earth.
Damn.
And everything in it.
Wow.
And she, of course, is like, bruh, I didn't do shit. Like, what are you talking about?
I've had one steak in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. And so she is taken to court. And I
recycle.
They deliberate over this for a while.
Yeah.
And eventually they come to a verdict of not guilty by way of ignorance, but they're still going to treat her like she's guilty.
We're not going to say you're guilty, but fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So her sentence is to write a book about her experiences.
This is so meta.
Ta-da!
This is so meta.
We've arrived. Time to get off. No,
just
not
something
yet.
Mark Zuckerberg walked by.
And she, of course, says, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. I'll do that.
I'm going to include a chapter about the jumper, though.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it's a dope jumper.
And the whole reason for writing a book is that she needs to let humanity know what they're doing is wrong and to stop it and come together and heal the earth, right?
Right.
One night, as she is getting ready for bed, a man in a black suit appears in her room.
Oh. We talking like tuxedo suit or like...
It's not clear. It just says black suit.
Okay.
He is kind of slender, not really, more average build, but he does have very long, slender fingers.
Ooh.
He has an oversized head.
All right.
Which is completely hairless.
Oh.
And he quote, has blind eyes.
It's just Slender Man.
Basically. But this is 97. This is before Slender Man.
Yeah.
So he sits with his hands clasped in his lap. And she's like, who the fuck are you? He ignores that question.
Yeah.
And just starts telling her shit. He's like, I am from the center of the earth.
Oh.
My race is responsible for bringing about the sentience of this planet. So he just gives like an exposition dump.
Okay.
He's like, here's who we are. We've been here for a long time.
Yep.
We see everything that happens on the earth. And this is our job, is to go from planet to planet and make them sentient.
Occasionally we hunt people looking for pages.
Yeah. Well, those are his notebook, like instructions on how to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking god damn it. So he tries to teach her, like he takes her outside. Nice. For some reason, she feels comfortable around him. And he takes her outside and up the lane.
Okay.
And it's really dark outside.
Spoopy.
And he takes her to the graveyard.
I object, but go on.
A little ominous.
Ominous!
And then he stops by a hedge row.
Okay.
And he tries to teach her how to pass her hand through. Because he's like, look, I could do it. And he passes his hand through the hedge, like, completely.
Yeah.
And, like, he wasn't even there. And he's like, it's easy. You just have to take all of your particles and move them to the center of your being so that they're more spread out and pass through the solid object. She tries several times and keeps failing miserably. And
I wonder why.
He gets really mad at her for sucking ass.
Well, yeah.
He's like, you suck! What the hell? What are you doing here? You can't even do that. He's pretty hard on her, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
So a couple of nights later, he's like, God damn it, we'll try this again another time.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of nights later, she goes to the graveyard.
Yeah.
I think these are, I kind of forget. I think they were instructions from him. He was like, on this night, you have to go to the graveyard, and there's like, she has like this initiation trial.
Mm-hmm.
It's raining. It's a moonless night. It's pitch black.
Nice.
She has to make her way to the graveyard.
Uh-huh.
And then she has to sit under this little shelter made of rocks. And it has a fucking name, and it's for sheep. It's for sheep to get out of the weather. It's like really small.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I don't remember what it's called, but she has to go sit under it
Yeah.
and await further instructions in the middle of this like storm.
That seems legit.
So she goes out, she walks to the graveyard, and she is suddenly ambushed by a bunch of knife-wielding ghosts.
Jesus.
This is my favorite part of the book.
Why do ghosts need to shank people? They're ghosts.
They're pissed off, and they want to stab her, and they're trying to get close to her. And she puts up a shield with her aura to keep them back.
Okay.
Not explained. This is also a superpower she has always had. And there's a scenario where a man is berating a woman for something she didn't do.
Uh-huh.
And so she steps in to defend her, and the man tries to berate her, but her shield keeps him at bay, and he becomes afraid of her and walks off, and everyone clapped. There's a lot of those stories. There's a lot of those stories. So anyway, she uses her shield to keep the ghosts back, and then a voice inside of her tells her to not do that. They're like, no, let down your shield. Use your love to talk to them. You need to tell them that they're dead because they don't understand that they're dead. There are angels waiting to take them away, but they still think they're alive.
They have to accept it.
Yeah, they have to accept it.
Yep. Classic.
So she lowers her shield, and one of them immediately steps up to like stab her.
Yeah.
And she kind of grabs him by the wrist, and she's like, fucking stop. Cut that out.
Bruh.
No, I don't mean cut that out. I mean cut it out. And then she tells them, hey, you're all fucking dead. And they're like, no, we're not. And she's like, bro, look at the tombstones. Read the names. You're dead. And then they're like, oh, shit. And then they go away.
All right. Okay. Look, you said we were going to get to ghosts later?
Yes.
I'm not disappointed. That was actually pretty entertaining.
It was a pretty good adventure.
Yeah.
And I love the fact they've just been hanging around these gravestones and they've never looked at them.
Yeah.
And they look at them and they're like, fuck. I guess we have to go now. So after that, she goes and sits under the thing in the rain.
Yep.
After a little while, there's a voice that tells her, you've done well. Leave your glasses in there and then go back home. So she does it. She gets home. She peels off her wet clothes, goes to bed. And the next day, she gets her glasses back. And then she returns to Canada. And she continues her friendship with the leprechaun to this day.
In Canada.
In Canada. He can go wherever he wants.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And she can go with him.
Exactly. So there's a few things I have to say about this book and the author. I know we haven't got the rating yet, but I'm going to say I don't like this book.
Okay.
I don't. I think
you were pretty generous on the other woo-woo books we read.
No, the other ones are... the other ones were somewhat interesting to me.
Yeah.
And it was... The authors seemed like... The authors of the other books seemed like they were genuinely crazy, like they believed their own bullshit.
Right.
This did not feel at all that way. The way this book was written, and I don't know if I can adequately describe this book feels like it was written as a fiction story, but for whatever reason, she decided to spin it as a true story. The language in this book is so colorful.
Uh-huh.
It borders on like cartoony, stereotypical adventure story thing. And like we said before, she is a Mary Sue. Everything she does is correct.
Yeah.
And she has all these superpowers. And there's multiple moments in the book where an elemental is starting to explain something to her, and then she just rattles off what it is. Like, let's say that she had never seen a television before.
Mm-hmm.
And the leprechaun was like, that's a television. And she's like, oh, and you take the remote to turn it on. You can flip through channels to watch all sorts of stuff like TV and movies.
She just has like instant understanding.
Yeah, and that's like all throughout this book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing really. The other ones were like, they were wholly ignorant of what they were learning about. And the elemental beings or light beings were telling them all this stuff. And I was like, that makes sense, if you're into that.
Right, exactly.
But this is like, no, she just somehow gets everything, understands everything, can do everything. Because I'm pretty sure eventually she learns how to phase through things, which I would love to see her demonstrate that.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I would love to see her demonstrate anything.
Can't do it when you're watching.
Yeah. So I really don't like this author. I think this book is 100% bullshit, and I am not convinced that she believes any of this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We've said this every episode, but like there's a certain point where you have to question if they believe what they're writing and if they believe what they're selling.
Right. Or
if they're just really smart and good at manipulating people into buying things.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to tell. And fuck. There's a very common trait in these types of books that we've discussed before is severe narcissism.
Right.
These people think they are the shit, and she is no exception. She, like, everything she says in the book is like the perfect amount of witty and like innocence, and I don't know, it just bugs me. It's like everything is just too perfect, too happy, too fanciful. The descriptions are too like nice and flowery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, none of this happened. You had a vacation in Ireland.
Right.
Like, I don't believe for a second any of this happened to you.
And you did a lot of peyote.
I really, really didn't like this book. It was very, very boring.
Right. There wasn't a narrative.
No.
Which there kind of was with the skulls because it was her developing her understanding.
Yeah.
But like you said, this person already understands everything. Even the Scientology book grew in what it presented you. It started with the basics and then expanded from there. The How to Goodbye Depression, I remember nothing of.
That was a fever dream.
I remember exactly zero of Goodbye Depression. And then the other one, what was the other one? The Magic of Unicorns. Also had a bit of a narrative in its understanding because it started with the base premises.
Interacting with a unicorn for the first time.
Exactly. And then growing from there.
Yeah.
But this one, the author just clearly understands everything already and doesn't present it in a way that she presents it in a way that it seems like it should already be known.
Yeah.
You should already know this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And the character is never like, she is never caught flat-footed or off guard.
Right. Exactly. Because she already knows everything.
Yeah, it's just infuriating.
Yeah. Each week, we give the book that we read a rating. Our ratings consist of normally 1 to 5 levels, but we kind of added 5 more levels the last time, but then we kind of got away from them.
Yeah, I would love to add 5 to each of the levels at some point. That'd be interesting.
It would be. So you would choose your main rating and then give it a sub rating?
Yeah.
But we wouldn't explain all the ratings.
It's complicated, man.
Yeah.
Or maybe a brand new sub rating every time. So I could say it's an IKEA manual, but it's one of the ones that has the whole blown up shot. So if you get lost, you can look at the blown up shot.
Oh yeah, but it's also like missing page 3.
Yeah, so something like that where you just add a little qualifier to make it interesting.
We can do that. So we have our lowest rating, which is toilet paper. Not worth anything but the paper it's printed on, if that. 2 is a shampoo bottle. It's there. It's better than not reading anything. 3 is an IKEA manual, competently written or entertaining, not both. 4 is a Kindle pick, worth picking up electronically, discounted, something like that. And then 5 is a hardcover, first edition collector's item. You got to own it. Conor McGregor, what is your rating?
I'm afraid I have to give this a toilet paper.
Okay.
There was nothing about this that was believable like the other ones.
Right.
At least with the other ones, I could see them believing it.
Right.
I do not see this woman believing this stuff at all.
Yeah.
I think it is wholesale lies.
It presented itself as a work of fiction. Like that's the idea that I got from it.
Yeah. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like she wrote a story. Nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, this is a true story and it happened to me.
Right.
And I have a leprechaun friend, and then someone published it for her.
Right.
That's what it felt like. It never felt like an experience she had. It felt like a fictitious story. And unfortunately, there was not enough of the woo-woo stuff that I found interesting. It was either stuff I already knew or just stuff reskinned, repackaged.
Right.
I really wanted leprechauns to be actual little physical, like gremlin creatures.
Yeah.
But they're just elementals, which is boring as fuck.
Right.
I was hugely disappointed with this book. I really expected a lot more of it. Thankfully, there was some interesting moments, like taking a bath with a leprechaun.
Yeah, that was weird. That
and
happened.
Referring to Hitler as really hot. That was interesting.
Getting shanked by ghosts.
Yeah, getting shanked by ghosts. But I'll have to give it a toilet paper. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone.
Okay.
And I think it's a worthless book.
Yeah.
And I would send it back if I could.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode for what it is.
Yeah.
If you did, please write to us at apage2far@gmail.com. That's
It's a P.
It's a page TOOFAR@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get in touch with us on Instagram /apage2far or Twitter.com/apage2far.
Yep.
However you reach out to us, we'll get it. And we desperately want to know your feedback. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let us know.
Yeah. We also have a Patreon. We're kind of looking at shaking things up on that.
Yeah, we're trying to decide how to redo the tiers.
Yeah, if you have feedback on that too, let us know. Let us know what you would like to see in the Patreon. But yeah, we're looking at changing different things. But we have movie commentaries, we have bonus episodes, we have outtakes, we have footnotes where usually those are like we tell a story or go on a tangent that ends up being a little too long to keep in the episode.
Yeah.
Those are great. I love our outtakes. I listen to them regularly. There's stuff that doesn't make it into the episode for one reason or another. And then we also post our episodes at least a day early on the Patreon feed, so you can get them if you just can't wait. And we put a lot of work into the show. So hey, if you can support us, please do. There's no obligation. Please do not feel pressured if you cannot.
We're going to be doing this whether or not we're getting money.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, the more money we make doing this,
the more we can commit.
Better we can make.
Yep.
The more we can make and the better we can make it.
Exactly.
Hashtag, I forgot hashtag themed. Again, I even wrote it in my notes as themed.
You did. You wrote themed. I saw
yes.
that. I was waiting for it. But you know what? Themed.
Hashtag Bobo lives.
Hashtag Bobo lives. Hashtag Patty O'Connor O'Brien O'Sullivan.
Hashtag leprechaun baths.
Hashtag leprechaun baths.
Hashtag Hitler is fucking hot.
Maybe not that
one, but it was worth a shot.
I mean, if you want to throw that out there, you can, but like, don't tag us.
Hashtag sexy Hitler?
I'm sure that's a thing.
I'm sure it's a thing too.
Yeah.